First of all, then, how much do you hope the comeback down at Cheltenham inspires better going forward?
Yeah, we very much hope for that. But not only that, we need to carry on tomorrow where we left off. Definitely, that's the mindset of the players. Can't keep waiting until we're 2-0 down to start playing. But again, on the flip side, yeah, we showed a good character to come back, but would have been nice to get the winner at the end. I'm not going to lie, sit here and say that I think we had enough chances to go and do that in the end, so that's a bit frustrating. But yeah, definitely, just if we start games like that, that's how we want to start games, not just finish them for 15-20 minutes. It's not enough to win games, and yeah, that's something we want to make sure we start right tomorrow.
What's the kind of discussion in the dressing room about why it was flatter at Cheltenham and, look, let's be right, at Forest Green too?
Yeah, Forest Green, totally not like us at all. The standards we've set all season, you know, we slipped well below that, and you hope for a response at Cheltenham, and I think under difficult conditions, first half we had a few chances and limited them to a few. Stockholm made a few good saves, not much in it, and even second half, barring the two lapses in concentration, didn't really have much in the way of chances. So yeah, disappointing in terms of a reaction from the Forest Green game, but then to finish strong is definitely something that we need to pull on, and yeah, the conversations are sticking together, and not, the manager's not asking us to do anything different of what's got us success from the start of the season. It's just getting back to them things that got us that success, and that's something that we want to do.
Because, well, quite understandably, the team put together such a long unbeaten run, a club record unbeaten run, and all the plaudits that come with that. It would have taken something beyond extraordinary to then go and, unbeaten for the rest of the season. But how much does that burst a bubble, I suppose, when it happens, regardless of the circumstances that it happens?
Yeah, and I think when you're on that run and you've got that momentum, you do have that belief that you're unbeatable, and you want to take that and use that as a positive. And when that's all of a sudden not there anymore, it's about then pulling on other things that's got us success. Like I'm just going to touch on there, just things like controlling the game, and having more prolonged possession, and things that we've probably gone away from, been a bit frantic, but really, especially in my experience, just having a calm and a patience, and not wanting to try and rush to score as soon as you win the ball back, and just maybe that's been a bit evident in the last few games because we're so desperate to just get the ball forward, and we've got two big strikers that we want to feed and get crosses in, and sometimes we've just got to remain calm, remain patient, and calm and collected with the ball. And with that, teams are going to have spells of possession. You can't go through a game having 100% possession. So with and without the ball, we can be a lot calmer, a lot more precise, and a lot more detailed in the way that we go about things.
Is this where you and some of the other players that do have a lot of games under the belt sort of come to the fore here for those that don't, and say, look, this is what you need to do?
Yeah, and I think thankfully we are an experienced group, so there's not many that don't know that, if you like. It's just probably them stark reminders of it is still in our hands, and we just need to concentrate on each game at a time like we have all season. But yeah, we just need to just pull on that experience a little bit. There's certain moments in the game maybe, and manage the games a bit better.
I do find this kind of extraordinary, Liam, in all the many different press conferences we've done with you. You're second top, not second bottom. But it's just the kind of pressure and the kind of expectation that are on Wednesday, that these are the circumstances that the team find themselves in.
Yeah, I think the frustration comes from that expectation, not only from outside and the fans, but from ourselves. And where we was at a few weeks ago, the frustration is that what an opportunity we had to kind of pull away. Now that's not been the case. There's still a lot of football to be played and a lot more twists and turns to come. So yeah, I think it's still good at this stage that we can rely upon what we're doing and not rely on other results and having to look elsewhere.
Does what's happened then just kind of refocus, if you like? It's the shot in the arm, it's the kick in the backside, etc. for the remaining matches of the season.
Yeah, I think so, and I think win or lose, there's always lessons to be learnt. We've had a lot of games within that run as well where we've perhaps got the result and we've not felt that we've performed very well. But that's not just a case of we've won and we move on. We always try and pick the bones out of it, and especially when you lose, there seems to be more obviously crop up. But that's something for us to learn from and get better.
How much do you feel as a squad you are missing players? Not so much that there isn't the ability there, but the options to change and do other things within games obviously aren't.
Yeah, I think that's obviously down to the manager and how he perhaps wants to change things. But as a player, it's part and parcel of football. You get injuries, and we're not the only squad with players missing. That's right the way through the football pyramid. That's why it's a team game ultimately. We've got a few big players out, but we have at different parts of the season as well, and overcome, when they've been out injured or suspended or whatever. So I think as a player, and me speaking individually, you just got to stick to what your task and your job is, to the best of your ability.
And which one's that going to be this weekend? Left centre half, right centre half, right of midfield, right wing back? You going in goal? People are getting chances.
I don't think I'm quite big enough to go in goal. I'm not quite big enough for that. But no, something I've always maintained right across the season and seasons to come, hopefully, and seasons that have been. I'm playing a number of positions, and something that I quite relish and enjoy and don't mind, to be honest, as long as I can help the team.
Final, obviously Lincoln this weekend. Niggly kind of obdurate team, aren't they? Draw a lot. What do you read into that?
I think they're difficult to obviously break down and beat, and they show a good resilience in games to come back and to get the draw and not to go under. So we know what a test every team is in this league. It's been proven recently, and we don't go into any game with the divine right to win. We give every team the same amount of respect, and we prepare the same for every game. So in terms of any opponent coming over the next 4 home games or the remaining away games, that'll stay the same. We need to play well, and we need a performance, we need a reaction, and I'm glad to be back at home, back down at Hillsborough, with hopefully a packed out stadium. It seems to have been a while, so looking forward to that side of it.
Best of luck.
Cheers. Thank you.
How's things? You all good?
How are you doing, Alex? Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, steady away, thank you. Steady away. Spoke to Stocky after the game on Wednesday. Sort of said that he'd had a bit of a chat with the players about where he's at in his career and the rest of the season. I mean, there's a lot of experienced players in there, yourself being one of them. Can you give us an insight into the conversations that are being had? There's a lot of wisdom in that room.
Yeah, I think the main one, and probably the main driving force, is the standards, and that's something we've looked to kind of address right the way through the season in terms of maintaining them standards, and for a big part of it, we have, and that's as a collective, but just each individual doing everything they can at the training ground, away from the training ground. There's a whole host of things that go on in terms of your recovery and that side of it, and just making sure that everything's being maxed out to enable us to perform and to get results on the pitch. And obviously Stocky said his piece, but I think everybody's got their own experience or their own thoughts or their own life lessons within their career, and things they can draw upon to get the best out of themselves. If that motivates him, and that's something that he thinks can help the group, then the group's more than happy for him to share that with the experience and things that he's got. So no, I think it's just getting back to them standards, maintaining them standards. Sort of my message, or how I see it really, is just being calm. Like I said to Andy, Gaffer's not asking us to do anything drastically different in terms of the way we approach and go about things. Yeah, we know we need to be better. We're not hiding away from that fact, and that's the motivation and driving force for the remaining games.
There must be a part of you that sort of looks around the room and the number of people that've got promotions under the belt and the amount of experience that everyone's got. Look, this run needs to end sooner rather than later, but it must give you immense confidence.
Yeah, I think confidence in experience probably not the right thing, but confidence in the ability in the dressing room. And I certainly believe that, we'll finish the season strongly. I've been in a lot of dressing rooms at this club, and for me, this one's got the tools to, to go and get the job done. And I think not only the ability, but I think mentally where we are as a squad and being resilient when there's adversity, and we always probably knew there would be. It's never going to be plain sailing. It's sport at the end of the day, and anyone can on any given day beat anyone. So I think it's just having that resolve now, especially get 3 points on the board, like you said, as quickly as possible, and like I said to Andy, just using the last 20 minutes as a building block then to go and start the game right tomorrow.
What about physically? How's everyone doing? It is a tighter squad because of the injuries and all the rest of it. There's been a lot of games and a lot of travel. I think I sort of wrote in a piece this week. It's not a week down the pit, is it? But at the same time, the demands of sports science these days and all the rest of it. How do you sort of keep on top of that? And can you give us an insight into some of the tricks of the trade maybe that the club use?
I think it is all monitored, like you say. The sports science here, they're forever looking at data and weekly data on a daily basis in the sessions, and everything's geared to giving the maximum output on the Saturday. I think the main thing that probably I would touch on from the travel is your recovery and getting your rest in. It's a massive part. For me, I started swimming recently. I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm only laughing because I'm terrible. But just something that's low kind of, weight bearing for me. It gets your body moving, and a trick of the trade really. Obviously everyone can nip to a swimming pool, but that really helps me. And like I say, it's very individual in terms of what works for you. I mean, we've got the cryo chamber at the club. We've got the hot baths, the cold baths. So finding what works for you, the recovery pumps, finding what works for you, and then just being consistent and giving the correct attention to that detail really. I'll not be getting any goggles or swimming hats anytime soon. I'm not up to that level yet. I can just about do 20 lengths, and but no, it's working for me. And of course there's knocks and niggles along the way. That's something that in every season, but the medical staff, like you say, the sports science, are working all hours. We've had extra masseurs coming in from different universities and stuff just to help get that as rapid as possible. All that side's well taken care of. It's up to us as individuals to max that out really, and use our downtime wisely.
Talk us through the cryo chambers. I'm trying to get Trev to let us come in and have a go, but what are they like?
I'd say you don't even want to have a go, mate. It's absolutely freezing, and you're coming back after an away game, and you have to dive in there. It's not nice. You make sure you bring your woolly hat and your gloves, and probably something to cover that tash and beard, because you'll have icicles coming off it, mate. To be honest, but again, it's a tool that if it gives you the marginal gain to recover your body, then it's something that you have to do, but it's certainly not nice. I prefer the steam room and the hotter recovery elements, to be honest.
Yeah, not very flattering either, I would have thought. Malik's back. Bright cameo after at the end of the last game. You come up against him in training. He's had a difficult time, really, isn't he? Sort of in and out, and injuries and all the rest of it. How important could he be, given the injuries to other players as well, going into these last 8 games? Yeah,
I think he did well when he come on. Made a real difference. Obviously, threw a bit of caution to the wind with the 3 strikers, if you like, and dropping Baz back down, but paid dividend in the end. He held the ball up well, offers something a bit different. He's strong. and cutting off his left. So yeah, glad to see him back. I think in terms of from now to the end of the season, all the injured lads are working to get back as quickly as possible. That goes without saying. But I think for Malik being the next one that's obviously been come off the bench, he'll be desperate to start a game, and whenever he gets a chance, just needs to be ready to make an impact like he did the other night, and that's all you can set out to do.
Sort of gather that he's sort of like big personality, likes a gag and all the rest of it. Pato, again, sort of gathering can be a bit up and down, but he's big personality. That those people coming back into the changing room and everyday life, that can be a big boost as well, can it?
Yeah, and I think as much as obviously when you are injured, you're still in the dressing room, you're still around the lads, so it's not a case of they're just all of a sudden back in. But like on a match day, they like a laugh and a joke, but when they get down to work, you know, they're serious about the work as well, which is something that's really good. I think again, Pato, be good to get him back soon. His work ethic and like you say, bringing that different dynamic, and I think for them watching, it's as frustrating as it gets as a professional athlete. Every game you miss, it's hard to watch and support the team. As you know, you want the team to do well, but you want to be a part of it, and I think they're all, you know, desperate to get back for the run-in, and hopefully we'll see them back amongst the goals as soon as possible.
What we were saying earlier about sort of conversations and leadership and all that sort of thing, the players that have been injured, have they been able to sort of get involved? I'm thinking, you know, Icky has been there, done it. You know, are they sort of helping out on that front as well?
Yeah, I think in terms of that, the meetings that we have, and you know, they sit in some of the meetings as well, so they're still within the understanding of what the manager wants from certain scenarios, as that might be apparent to them in 2, 3 or whatever weeks time, that a point that he's making in that meeting he wants them to hear. So I think the manager's quite good at keeping everybody tuned in, if you like, and on the same page, and you might be sat there thinking, well, I'm not back for X amount of time, but it resonates with you. Excuse me. It resonates with you at a different time in the day, and so I think, yeah, like I say, the lads are always about in the dressing room, always having chats here and there, and I think as long as we maintain the same message and the same kind of say spirit, but like you say, drawing on experiences, like you said, mentioned Icky there, then that's something positive as well.
Obviously, two good goalkeepers, big call by Darren the other night. Can Stocky's experience, just that bit more experience, promotions under his belt, all the rest of it, can that make a difference, do you think?
For me, yeah, like you touched on there, first and foremost, two excellent goalkeepers, and managers made a decision the other night to play Stocky, and I thought he did really well under immensely tricky, you know, weather conditions and all the rest of it. I think by the end of the first half, the goalmouth was like a bog. I don't know if you could see from the side of the video, so I think he come in and done really well. For me, yeah, it's hard to say. Whoever's playing, I have full confidence in, really. Cammy's come in, done brilliant, been on an unbelievable run, and so too Stocky at the start of the season. So if anything, it keeps them two in that department especially sharp, and you know, knowing they need to perform, and that's no different to any other position on the pitch in terms of the dynamic that the manager's always tried to have 2-3 players in any one position, and you know that if you're not on your game, that somebody's there waiting to come in and take their chance. So again, probably more of a question for the manager. For me as a defender, having played under both and had relative success this season under both, you know, whoever's playing, hopefully we can start getting back to some clean sheets and extend that record that we've so proudly worked towards this season.
Lastly from me, just wanted to touch on Scotland. I mean, have you had any conversations? It feels, you know, certainly in the time that I've been watching, you're probably having the best season that you've had, and this is the first season you've not quite had a sniff.
Yeah, I've touched on before. We've had conversations with Steve Clark last summer, but I think in terms of Scotland, they're flying at the minute. Top of the group, just beat Spain, so I don't think they'll be thinking about me anytime soon. But I think they've got a lot of young talent. They've got a great squad, great staff as well. And I didn't manage to watch the games. Obviously, we was on the bus travelling down. Caught a little bit on the phone, but it's a bit crispy. Me and Baz were trying to watch it at the back. But no, I hope they keep going well. And get to the next Euros. And you never know with things. But it's not something in the forefront of my mind, to be honest. Alex is my main focus, and part of the reason when I did speak to Steve was just to focus on what I'm doing at my club and my form at the time, which I've managed to do for a large part of this season, and something I want to continue to do. So they're going well, and fair play to them, and good on them. Hopefully they keep winning. I think the next camp's in the summer, so no, more than likely I'll probably be watching from a sunbed somewhere. But no, in terms of Scotland, I think the door's never closed with things like that. But with 8 games to go in the season, the priority for me is club.
Never any thought of retirement or anything like that? Country retires you, not the other way around, and all that sort of thing?
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever come out of retirement, no. Especially not at 31. Plenty of football left in me just yet, so no thoughts of retiring from anything just yet.
I wasn't suggesting anything otherwise, I promise. Not bad. Cheers for that, Liam. All the very best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hi, Liam. You okay?
Hi, Rick. You alright, mate?
Yeah, not bad. Thank you. Just touching on something that Andy talked about earlier. Were the harsh words said then among you lot after the last few games, especially, I'd imagine, the Forest Green one?
Yeah, they when things don't go well, there's always words to be said, and there's a lot of the time words to be said, but things that are already known within yourself if you're not played well. So I think as long as it's took in the right way and it's coming with the right intention, I don't think you ever mind if somebody's got something to say or something that they think can be better. No matter how experienced or how many little games, the manager's quite an advocate for people speaking their mind and not leaving it to bubble up, rather just address it and deal with it in the best way possible and in a positive way, which we have done since he's been here, not just this season, but we've always had that open floor type mentality, and he's very much open door type of manager, give you his honest thoughts. And for me, people being transparent with you is something that is quite high on my list of kind of non-negotiables really. I'd rather know where you stand with someone. So yeah, harsh words, but I think that should continue if need be.
Absolutely, yeah. Obviously, this run, I think, 4 games without a win? Does it kind of allow you to kind of step back and think, right, all the hard work we've done, we don't want to let that go, do we? We've got this 8-game, little patch or clutch of games now. Just trying to kind of like refocus and recalibrate. Yeah,
I think so, and I think that is a conversation that goes on with yourself in terms of everything we've done, the run we've been on, the clean sheets and all this, and the great targets we've been smashing, and it means nothing really if you don't see the job through, and I think that's what you're getting at, and that's something that very similar sentiment to what I shared with not only myself but in conversation with other people, and just desperate to get that continuity back, and like you say, just 8 games now, just to leave it all out there and just empty the tank, like the gaffer likes to say, and just leave nothing else, to chance really.
Absolutely, I was going to say, it's still in your hands, isn't it? That's the main thing as well, with that little buffer between yourselves and Ipswich. But obviously, you'll all be determined, you especially, to kind of get the job done and not have to go through the playoffs, because we all know this club's record in recent years. I mean, how much of a factor is that in terms of, not wanting to get sucked back in?
I think we almost think on the other side of that coin, really, where about not really getting sucked in, but we want to soar and we want to pull away. Do you know what I mean? We want to kind of use that as a positive, the position that we're in, and that we don't have to rely and look at other results. You know what I mean? We've solely focused on, and it literally just is tomorrow and then the next game. And I think any team or manager that you speak to that has success or is at the top of any league or challenging at the top, that's the mentality that most of them maintain, and I think rightly so. It's worked for us for a large part of this season. So I think to go away from that and start thinking about, you know, the kind of being sucked in, it don't really sit right with us as a squad. So whatever we can push on and you know, get back to the top, that's what we're looking to do.
Absolutely, yeah. Obviously, I think you've played the most games of anyone in the squad this season, and I know you passed that landmark, didn't you, earlier, a few weeks back. Do you look at things like that, and obviously I imagine you will, but do you take a great deal of pride in being in that? I'm not sure where you're on the list now, but you're well in the top 20, aren't you? How much does that mean to you to be, you know, along some of them names that are up there?
Yeah, I think personally it's obviously very nice to see when the graphics go up and your name's in with these, you know, some of them are hard to Google, to be honest, because, you know, before my time. But they're there and they're set in stone, and they're set in stone for a reason. And so to leave that legacy behind, obviously Chef Wednesday was here before I was born, and it'll be here long after I'm gone, and that's something that no one can take away from you in terms of the list and that kind of thing. But it also means to me as an individual that I'm doing the right things and that things are going in the right direction still. Still hopefully lots of chance to creep up even more in that list. And yeah, it probably does become a motivation that you see kind of the targets set and want to obtain, you know. Not sure about the Andrew Wilson one, 520 odd. I think I worked out it's about 30 games on average over 5 seasons, but you never know. So I'm never say never, but yeah, I think again, just going back to the original question, it's nice to see and it's nice to be in that company, but I think that comes again with the mentality of just every day just doing the right things,